Hi. So this week I'm continuing with my discussion about the Great Resignation or the mass exodus, the outflowing of your talent because your employees have now realised they can work for anyone, anywhere. And I decided to carry on talking about it this week because the videos and the articles I did last week got a lot of feedback. Firstly, the figures of the cost of the resignation really got some attention, and it was a lot of like, seriously. So I've talked about more this week about more things we need to do. So I've talked about listening. I've talked about closing the sentiment between the executive and the employee, the 6 big gaps that Gartner have identified between what executives think and what the employees think. And I wanted to talk about leadership availability. Leaders need to be available. And during the pandemic, we've seen a different side of each other, haven't we? We've seen the screaming babies and the children and the barking dogs and the mischievous cats on the keyboard. We've seen people's laundries and kitchens and bedrooms and you name it. And we've also seen that of our leaders, and it seems, we feel that they are, it's made them more approachable. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're available. And when I talk about leaders being available, I mean that they are visible and accessible to us as employees. And that's a challenge, isn't it, in hybrid work, because no longer can you actually see, oh, the leader is in their office, I'll go and see if they're available for a chat. Or I can just stop them in the corridor and say, oh, while you're passing, can I ask you a question? So it is a challenge. So leaders need to find new and innovative ways to make themselves available. And in my article this week, I reference a Forbes article by a guy called Kevin Cruz. And he usually just gives some examples of what some organisations are doing. And one of the examples he uses is his weekly fireside chat with the CEO, where anyone can rock up, and the CEO will talk about the latest moves in the plans to move to the hybrid working model, where they're at and where they're going, and people can ask questions. And they've made sure that it's consistent, it has valuable content, and the number of attendees has just soared. People are really interested to hear what the CEO's got to say. That's just one idea, might not work for your organisation. The other one is the Ask Me Anything tour, where department heads or leaders can do a tour around different teams in the organisation and say, ask me anything. So they become more visible and more approachable, and people feel they can reach out. They're just 2 examples. Reach out to your employees and find out what it is that they want. How do they want to have access to their leaders? How do they want their leaders to be visible and available to them? I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.